What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I have another podcast today. Today's episode is a very, very special one to me because the guy that I have on today, I would consider as a person that has been with me since the very, very beginning of my time as a creative. And I'm talking like years back, probably 2018, 2019, I believe is when I met him, was around 2019. He'll confirm. This guy that I have on today, he has worked with a couple of music artists, just to name a few. Mareko from Decepticons, also L.Eyez from New Zealand. He's also worked with a few brands as well. L.Eyez eyewear and Matai Watches. And so today, I just want to welcome my good friend, Parker Phillips David.
That was all.
Thank you, bro.
Thanks for having me, Oos.
Thank you for coming on, man. I appreciate you. Now, just a bit of a backstory before I pass the time over to him. When I started this podcast last year, I was fortunate enough to have like a few creative friends that I reached out to help me get started. And Parker here is one of them. He was my second guy that I had on. And so back then I did it in the car and he was the one that I had on. So if you guys do scroll down on my IG, you'll see a couple of the snippets that I shared with him. I did put out the full version on YouTube.
What happened was too many views and it crashed. So we're back by popular demand. That's why.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
That's why it's not up there. It's too many views, man. Too many millions.
Oh, but yeah, that's just a little bit of a backstory. And so I'm so grateful that to have Parker on today because, like I said, he was my day one from when I first started in the creative space. And then he's also considered another day one because of when I started this lane that I'm on now. And yeah, I'm grateful for him, bro. So thank you for coming on, Dave. So for that, and just hand over the time to you just to give, I guess, like a little extension of the bio, bit of your background, who you are, just for the people to know a bit more about you.
Yeah, so my name is Dave, but I'm also known as Parker. Everyone just calls me Parker. And I've had that name since I was in college, which is high school back in New Zealand. So, but yeah, so I'm based in Ipswich, Brisbane, and I'm a full-time freelance filmmaker, editor, / wedding event filmmaker.
Yeah, nice. Also, I think just a bit of a backstory again, just to add on to how we met. You remember the day that we met, like for the first time face to face?
We met through social media, right?
Yeah. First social media. And then it was our mutual friend, Ruff.
Is that the first time we met close up, face to face? I'm bad with memories, man.
Yeah. So Sisha.
Oh, so that was the first time meeting
back then. Yeah.
I remember that day, but I just couldn't remember when did we actually meet. So that was the first time.
Yeah. That I can remember because I remember. So yeah, like again, shout out to our friend Ruff Pops. He was coming to Sisha Lords that we had back then in the area, and I think that's when I decided to meet up with him. When I got there, I jumped out. I remember saying hi to him real quick. And then I don't know if it was me or if it was him that brought up your name. I can't remember exactly who. But then I do remember him responding saying like, bro, I'll message him. He lives around here.
I was just around the corner.
Exactly, man. And so he did. And then you popped up. And then that's when I remember meeting you then, like face to face, you know?
True. Yeah, it takes us way back.
That was a long time, bro. Yeah. And that conversation was our longest conversation too. So much for us to talk about, back then, because we were so new.
Yeah.
Do you kind of I think just to kick off, do you remember quite vividly like some of the things that you kind of went through in your early stages when you were trying to learn the camera?
Yeah, I think when you talked about when we met at Sisha, I had the GH5 that time, same as Ruff.
Yeah.
So we had the Panasonic GH5, so the Micro Four Third system. And I remember we were talking about full framing, had no idea the difference between a full frame, camera.
Yeah, me too, bro. I didn't.
And I think Ruff was explaining it as it's just bigger sensor with the full frames. And I was like, I don't understand like what is but as time goes by, you understand. Okay, full frame, it's good in low light, conditions, and it's very hard working with the GH5. In rough nose this too. Like we have to kind of manual focus, with the full frames.
Yeah.
It's automatic as gun for Sony's, but with the GH5, man. So I think the 3 years I was doing a manual, manual everything before I converted to the full, the Sony systems.
Yeah.
And man, when I first used it, the autofocus, like I wasn't used to it. I was like, man, this is so easy. I can push in. See, with the GH5, you have to shoot in a wide, like a 24, just to get everything in focus when you're moving forward. But you can't move in too close because otherwise the talent will go out of focus.
Right.
So, or change the aperture to like 4. Like if I want the background blurry, I can't. There's no way I'm going to push in with the gimbal and try to adjust it because there's no way. So what I did is I set the manual focus, make sure that you're in focus, and then move side to side. That kind of stuff. Yeah. Because if you move side to side, it's fine.
It's still the same.
It's just when you move forward or backwards, that's when the talent starts to come out of focus. So, but it was good memories. It gave me like a skill set to learn manual focus. And I do it for 3 years, man. It's just like people are like, man, you did manual focus for 3 years. I was like, yeah. It's very hard to work with that camera too, like especially in like any shoots, like weddings. Like it's very hard, especially when it's too sunny. Like if it's too sunny, man, it's so hard to use that camera. Or if it's low light, it's really bad in low light situations. Like even inside here, like it'll be grainy in post. You got to do all this editing in post to sort of smooth out the grainy stuff. So, but it was a good skill set for me to learn.
Yeah, for sure,
getting
man.
into the full frame cameras. Yeah,
because I remember because I went straight into the Sony system. So I remember when we were talking about that, like I was kind of like you. I didn't really understand too much on the manual side of things because I didn't have to worry about that. And I think even the low light stuff, like, I that's why I went with Sony years back then. It's just because that was the one piece of information that stuck with me is that like the focus and the low light is awesome on the Sony. Not even knowing what low light was, I was just like, wow, what if it's good, man? If this is what the people say, then it must be something good. I think I'll just see it and understand it as I go on. You know what I mean? As I use it. I think your GH5, bro, it was like for the bit rate, it could do 8 and 10-bit,
10-bit, but I've always used 8-bit.
Oh, okay.
Or like I didn't understand.
Could it do 10-bit as well, though, if you wanted to?
It can, but I think in some settings, but I've always just stuck to one settings that I know. So I've always shot all my footage from my earlier shoots are from 8-bit. 8-bit. So
because I remember like talking with you, and then you were saying something to me about like with the colors for the 8-bit that it's banding.
Yeah,
like you I remember having this convo with you so long ago, and you said to me, "Oh, is your colors banding?" And I didn't even know what that meant. Like back then, I was just like, well, I just went off what I saw, and I was like, it looks good to me.
Yeah,
so I was like, maybe it doesn't, because I thought, for me, I think when I hear certain things back then, I kind of like look at my image and I kind of look for something that doesn't look good or look normal, and then I just assume that must be what they're talking about. So at that time when you were telling me about banding, like now I know banding, like but at that time I had a good look and I was like, oh no, I think it does it just because I couldn't see what it was, and I just kept going with it. There was so much learning back then, man. Like for us. I remember in our first conversation that we had as well in the car, like we talked about people back then that we try to reach out to, hey, for help. And you're talking about somebody that you reached out as well. It was a Balangi guy.
Oh, shucks, bro. That takes me. Yeah.
You want to touch on that a little bit? Because back then, there was only a few of us polys,
It was very few. Actually, it was funny. Like now, the creatives, there was only a very few, and so when I started out, so I explained how I started. So, how I got into the film was at the time I was jobless, wasn't working at the time. Wife was working, and I was watching YouTube. Watching you, I like to watch travel YouTube. I've always till this day now. Like last night, I was just watching travel vlogs. I've always been into that. So when I was watching, and there was one one YouTuber that was just traveling around the world, and he would just go and bargain with shops in Thailand, the knockoffs like the Nikes, all that, and I got really hooked into that. So and I just keep watching. I was like, man, I love what he's doing. He's filming, documenting what he's doing, and he's traveling around the world. So I looked into what camera he was using. It was the GH5. That's why I got that GH5.
Oh, yeah.
So for those that don't know,
it looked beautiful to you back there too. Hey.
Oh yeah.
I remember you saying it was like, you're like, bro, this looks cinematic.
Yeah, cinematic. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think what caught my eye was in between this guy's vlogs, he'll do like a cinematic scene, like showcasing the streets, the cinematic stuff in between. I was like, man, what's this? All the slow motion.
Yeah,
and I was like, wow, that's what I want to do. Like, I want to do what this guy's doing. So to be honest, I brought my camera to be a YouTuber.
That's right. I remember now.
To go around and vlog, and then once I got my camera, I obviously didn't understand any settings like ISO, aperture, the basics. So I downloaded the settings from another YouTuber who does weddings, and he's just look, just download this and put it into your SD card and just go. Yep. So no, so once I got that, at the time I was at church. I filmed 2 church events, one birthday event, and one a men's gathering event. Had no idea with the exposure, just press record, and that was it.
Yeah, true.
And after that, I was like, yeah, sweet. I said, I've shot my first thing. Now I've got to learn how to edit. So, so I had to find a program to a software to edit. And at the time, obviously, I wasn't working at the time, and I was like, what's a free version, free software I can, edit? So I was looking, Premiere Pro is like where everyone goes to, Premiere Pro is the OG, and I just didn't like you have to spend subscription every month. Yeah. So I was like, nah, I'm going to find something on Google. And then DaVinci Resolve came up. Free version. Yeah. You can do a full-on edit. It's limited to other things than the paid version now, which I'm already on. But that's how I got into DaVinci, because I was looking for a free software, so I won't have to pay subscription every month. Yeah. And that's how DaVinci, I've always been with DaVinci Resolve till this day.
Yeah. What year was that? What year was that you're looking for the software stuff?
So when I got my camera in like 2018 in November, so that's when I shot the 2 events. Yeah. And then after that, I just left my camera in the bag, because when it came to learning how to use it, instead of using the guy's YouTube settings, I had to understand, aperture, ISO, and it got too much for me. So I just left it in the bag for like months. So not until I picked it back up in mid-June. I think it was mid-June 2019. That's where I had to learn, because my wife said, hey, we didn't get this loan. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
I got, so at the time I was jobless, and I got a loan, and somehow, I don't know how I got the loan. Thanks, Combank. Yeah, I got approved, and man, I made that. It's the best decision. I'm not saying go and get it if you have a job, if you don't have a job, but I just really wanted to be a YouTuber, and really wanted to do vlogging and travel and documenting myself. But then, I got a loan. I just applied, through the app, you just apply. Man, I got it, man. It was like $5,000 I applied for. And that was just enough to get the body, the lens that come with it. And
just a good starter kit,
just
right?
a starter kit, yeah. And that's how it became. And then, so like mid-June, I picked up the camera, because I just couldn't. I just got frustrated because I didn't understand the ISO and that, and I just got nah. I'll just leave it, and I'll just try and find a job.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, true. And you still use DaVinci to this day. You know that software like very, very well. So you've never touched Premiere, eh? You've never touched what's the other program that Apple has? Final Cut.
no, never used.
You haven't touched any of those two,
No,
eh?
I think I tried to, but like again, like when I got used to DaVinci, I tried to use Premiere Pro, but then again, it just requires you got to learn new things, and when it comes to learning new things, I just shut down.
Yeah.
So that's why what happens with me not filming so sooner with the GH5 because I shut down and then I lack confidence and then I just leave it.
Yeah, true.
So that's why I just didn't bother learning Premiere Pro because I was like, it's kind of similar with, cutting, but you got to learn. I was like, nah,
Yeah,
I'll just stick to DaVinci, so.
Yeah, true. And like you're really good, man, at DaVinci. I think there's a few more people that I've come across last year that use DaVinci as well. And because I'm not familiar with that software, so a lot of them I just send them your way. I just go because I know that that's what you use. Save Fig for when they're like, oh, what a Final Cut, make me up. Like because those are the people that I do know that use those type of softwares, eh? Yeah. So back then, man, this is cool because I think we'll just sit on the beginning part of your career for a little bit. I do remember you also filmed like the barbershop, L.Eyez.
Oh yeah, man. That was my first ever barbershop. And the funny thing is, I shot in log. Everything was log. So I went.
And did you shoot that because you knew about or heard about log?
I heard about log. So I just followed this YouTube tutorial how to shoot log and didn't really understand it. I just liked the before and after. You know how you get the swipe from log to color graded. So I did some learning into that because I reached out to Lole and said, look, I'm a new videographer coming into this industry, and look, can I just come in and shoot? So because I was coming in to shoot, I was like, okay, I got to take this seriously. But yeah, so I shot in log. I just crazy. Like you don't do that as a beginner. Like you start with the neutral settings, right? With colors already on them when you're starting out. So I just got into the log straight away. And another creative came with me to, man, now I forgot his name. He's been in the industry for a while. He came with me on the shoot and just to help me, guide me of like how to shoot, the frame rates and that kind of stuff. Then I understand.
So this was somebody that had been filming for a while, eh?
Yeah, he was like, oh man, I just forgot his name. Like he's not filming now, but he was like I found him online somehow on Facebook, and I saw his stuff. I was like, man, this is awesome. Like, so I reached out, messaged him on Facebook, and he didn't reply back for ages, like months. And then he messaged through. He goes, "Oh, sorry, he's Samoan." Yeah, he said, oh, man, sorry, I just can't remember his name. Yeah. But he was like, "Yeah, look, I'm happy to help." Because I asked him, "Look, can I like to come into your shoots and just observe and." Yeah. And then he said, "Hey, look, I told him that I was." Yeah, he messaged back, "Look, I'm free now. Sorry, I didn't get back to you." And then I said, "Oh, look, I'm going to shoot at this barbershop." He goes, "Cool, I'll meet you at this time." And then I was just watching him. Now it's bugging me. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I think it'll probably pop up along the way as we talk.
Yeah. So, but he was one of the creators. You might know who he is, but he worked with brands like that. He was really good, eh? Yeah. So, but yeah. Anyways, and that's how it started. Shooting at the barbershop, and one thing led to another. Like, oh, there's another event for touch, and I was like, oh, how much do you charge? And that's when it popped in my head. It was like, oh, he asked how much, and that was like a light bulb, Yeah. And I was like, wow, true. Okay. Also, I'll get back to you. So I think that's when I got asked to, how much for my service, and then that's where then I was like, okay, cool. I'll just suss out what everyone's charging, you know?
Yeah.
So,
So you're kind of like, I guess, just learning on the moment, like on the go kind of thing.
So
Hey,
when you're on the go, obviously you do free stuff.
Yeah.
So you can just, because you're supposed to, when
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
starting out, until once the quality starts to improve, then you start to pay. But I mean, when I was doing this touch rugby, I mean, it wasn't to that. It was cheap, like it was so cheap what I was charging, but it wasn't like, I was still like learning.
Yeah.
Like, I still, when you're at a sporting event, so like I had the 12 to 35. 12 to 35 and thinking that's all I had. That's actually, that's all I had. The starter kit, right?
Yeah.
That's all I had to film. And when you go to a touch event or any, you need at least 70 to 200.
Yeah.
But at that time, I just didn't have anything apart from the 12 to 35.
Yeah.
And, I had to go up really close to get at the close-up shots.
Yeah.
So, it was a good, it was L.Eyez. He was running, also was running a touch event in Springfield, Stingers. So he runs the touch footy thing, and
I do remember him going through doing a bit of that as well outside of the barber shop. He was doing other things that he liked to do.
Yeah.
Man, because I just remembered as well, like the GH5, it could do 4K, and like it could film 4K 50 frames.
Man,
like it could do 25 and 50.
Yeah, it can do 4K. But the funny thing is, I've always shot in HD. All my films you watch back there were HD.
Yeah, right.
And people thinking like, man, I thought you always shot in 4K. I was like, no, it's because one, my memory card at the time was SD card, couldn't handle the 4K.
Yeah.
And not enough room. And but the funny thing, I just popped into my mind when I was filming the touch event. I filmed so much that halfway through the night, I ran out of space. So what I was doing was I was deleting footages just to get the good shot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. So I filmed so much. I can't remember. I think it was like I can't remember the size of the memory card, but I remember, shucks, I had just one SD card, right? And I was like, looking through my GH5 and just deleting the ones that
because you're there filming it too, so you know the space is full and you know it's still going, so you're trying to clear up and still keep filming, right? Like that era for us was like crazy, like, you know what I mean, like so much learning, especially when you're going out and filming something for the first time. Like a lot of things kick in where you get like excited, nervous, all of those feelings, right?
Yeah.
So I could only imagine you when your card is full. I could only imagine how you're feeling at that time when you're like, crap,
you're panicking, like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna miss everything. But yeah, it's still there to this day on my social media on Instagram. So if you go back to the start, you'll see the barbershop promo I did.
Yeah.
And the Stingers, the touch one.
Yeah.
And so
dang. Because the only reason why I bring up the 4K is because I think at that time, I'm not 100% sure, but I think that was the only camera that could do 4K 50, because Sony's only could do 4K 25. Even like the A7 III could only do, like we had to go 1080 if we wanted like the slow-mo, And I do remember that, because I think that was a lot of the things that other people that were looking into cameras were like saying. They're like, oh no, I'll go here because it's got 4K 50, 50 frames. And I was like, oh, I didn't think about that when I bought my Sony. But then I was like you, I didn't really film in 4K because it took up so much space in my card. And so I'll just sit with 1080, and 1080 was all good. Because mind you, at that time, I didn't even know the difference between 1080 and 4K. Like if I saw it side by side, I wouldn't know, Like my eyes wasn't trained like till a couple of years later. And then I was like, oh, okay, I can see the difference.
Yeah. No, hard. Yeah. No, definitely also, no, that's right. That's crazy. 4K 50, but I've never.
For that type of sensor too.
It was ahead of its time. So the Micro Four Thirds system, they had the technology then, but they lacked the autofocus. So I was waiting for the GH6 to come through.
Because you stayed loyal, I think.
I stayed with
To
the
that camera
GH5 because
for a
for a
while.
while, and I didn't move up to full frame because I was waiting for the GH6
Yeah.
and hoping that the autofocus was going to be good. But when I found out it wasn't, I just stopped. I jumped ship and
Because they had the S, I think, as well.
oh yeah,
And it was like something to do, like, I think they said that one was good with low light or something.
yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
did you get both?
Yes. So eventually, over time, I think after 2 years, I think it's after 2 years, I was able to get a second camera, a GH5S, and there was gun and low light. But autofocus still the same.
Still the same. Yeah.
So I think, yeah. So I got my second camera, and all excited, and got me another lens, 18-35 Sigma.
Man, that's good hearing, like, the beginning stories from you, man.
When you start, I'll say it's like it's exciting. It's really excitement, and you're just really motivated, and you just can't wait to edit. Over the time, you'll get to a point, man. You get burnt out, and you just don't want to edit. So you'll get to those stages as a creative when you're starting out. Everyone goes through it. Every creative goes through all that,
Yeah. I think while we're talking about that, how did you deal with those times when you got to those times where you're just like getting a bit tough for you? How was your mentors and how did you handle it?
So I've been over 2019, so it's about over 5 years now that we've been in the space now, right? I think I think last year, which was just 2024, I was had a great year. It was really full on. I think that was the year that there was too much work, and then I started to get burnt out. I was felt like I just didn't want to edit some projects, and I think that's when I started to feel like I needed a break. But then at the same time, you don't want to turn down work because it's being a freelance. It's hard, it's not like every week. Like if you don't have any work established, then you're going to take up any jobs. I was grateful to be able to maintain this because I shoot a lot of weddings now.
Yeah.
And that last year, man, I can say I get close to alone about up to 70 weddings.
Yeah, man, you did heaps.
I did a lot of I was shooting 2 to 4 weddings a week.
A week, yeah.
And I was shooting for other wedding companies, shooting for them. And that gave me a lot of experience in the wedding industry now.
Yeah.
Having 3 cameras, where to stand, where not to stand, working with the photographers. So I really upped my game in the wedding industry. So just with these ones, I can't obviously upload these weddings because they're not mine. They're not my weddings.
Yeah. So is that contract, is it?
Contract work. So, and I worked for 5, 6 different companies, and learning and be able to learn it was good. Also, is learning the contracts, understanding their shoot guide. Each wedding companies have a shoot guide and how they want you to stand. So they gave me a lot of experience. So I can say I'm a really experienced wedding filmmaker now.
Yeah, for sure.
I've been doing it full time. When I started off, I didn't want to do weddings.
Yeah,
it was no, because I heard the stress and the. I remember doing my first ever wedding with Uso Herman in Toowoomba.
Boxer.
The boxer, Herman. Yeah, those. He's hard. He's a TikToker now. Like he's doing really well. Like he's always on the TikTok and the live. But he's doing really well. But I did a promo video with him, with the eyewear company. L.Eyez back then. Once you touch on that.
Yeah.
But that was my first ever wedding. It doesn't matter what you call it, what type of work you do, as long as you understand, the exposure, your settings. You can do sports events, you can shoot weddings, you can do promo. It doesn't matter what it is, because you got the experience of how to use your camera, how to expose, right? So you just have to learn where to position weddings. Like, what time do you start? Man, I had no idea. The first wedding I came in couple hours early, to the groom prep. Not knowing, not understanding the schedule and what time I should be there, because I didn't know how long I should be with the groomsman before I head to the bride. How long do I spend with her before I set up for the ceremony? And and then the formalities I didn't really get because it was crazy. So I stayed away from weddings, but I just it's all good because they also reached out and he's obviously I worked with him the promo video. He's look got a wedding coming up, and so that was my first one, and man, my feet were sore. I had blisters and
Yeah, it's a long day, man.
long day, man.
Long day, bro.
And I said, nah, I'm never going to do this again. So the second wedding, yep. When you need the money, man, yeah, Seki. Oh, I'll do it. But I didn't really want to do it. So I did my cousin's one. I did my cousin's wedding and so on and so on. So throughout this whole time, I've only done 5 weddings on my own. Oh, no, 6 weddings, that's my own.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to do weddings. But now that I was in it full time all last year, I'm ready to take that on now. So it's doing all it yourself, like setting up cameras. If you're experienced wedding filmmaker, you would understand. Like, Mark, I remember asking you, like, I want to come with you on your shoot just to experience it. I think the reason why is because I was shooting my first wedding.
Yeah.
And wanting, maybe I think I reached out to you so I can get some experience.
I think so, bro.
That's probably why I reached out, and I can't remember. I remember messaging, but we just never got to cross paths. I'm bad with memory, bro.
Me too. That's a big bit of a reach back to me. But man, because the only reason why I'm struggling to remember is because we had so much conversation, bro. Like, if we're not talking about filming, we're talking about how do we charge for this. We're talking always something kind of linked to filming, but sometimes more so on the business side of it. Like.
All the questions. How much do you charge? And
man, for me, like, it was so good at the time because we had so much conversation, it really made me rely on you and rely on the few that we had back then. Because it was only for me, because I just consider you and Ruff as my day ones, because yous were the ones that I've met first when I came into the space. Yeah, the others like Josh Hoffey, Mike Mika, I met them maybe the following year or months after, but yous were my first, and so that was another good thing because our Polynesians it was only such a small group of us. We were
Just to think about it, like it wasn't there much polys in the creative space.
Yeah, back then,
2019. Or 2020.
Because I believe when COVID came, that's when a lot of people came into the space because a lot of us spent hours, days at home, But I will never forget that time back then when I first started because our group was so small, in my eyes, so close, so tight. Till this day, I still feel the same, Like I took a break for that year. I come back. I still talk with you guys like I never left.
We always have that type bond. It's always there from the start, and even to this day, we would have questions to ask, about camera settings or all that kind of stuff. So it's always to have your day ones closer. You always have that group that you always stuck to for all these years, and But it's good to see other creators coming up now. There's so many now. There's so many.
It is, bro. Do you find with all of them coming through, you must see when you have them reaching out to you, you must feel and see yourself back in those shoes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we were like that once.
Yeah, man. No, it's funny now because when you get a message. When the new creative comes up and they message you, man, also I love your work, man. Like what do you charge, or how do you make your footage so cinematic? And and I just crack up, not to them but myself. Man, said to my wife, this is what I used to say.
Exactly.
I used to say this to everyone. Message through, how did you get this so cinematic? And a lot of times when I was starting out, trying to asking, how much you charge, or how'd you get this cinematic? I'll get the cold shoulders from other creatives.
Yeah.
Not so much with poly ones because it was just only us.
Yeah, man.
I was asking, man. I was asking so many. A lot of them was obviously rough. Josh was another one, technical stuff, way before he came into this reviewing product. Man, I asked, he's the reason why I rang him. And also, I'm getting a laptop. I don't understand what what's the minimum specs should I get?
Yeah.
And he told me, send me a photo of I was in Harvey Norman. Send me the specs of the computer you're looking at. And I was looking at the budget, like, trying to keep within the budget, but it was still expensive, like almost 3K. And I said, yeah, that will do for 4K, at least to, edit in 4K. So I still got that laptop to this day, and that's what I've edited.
Holy.
That's when I upgraded from my first laptop to the one now, and it's a decent one. It's a good one, to do all my professional work, man. And that's how I got my camera off, because he was like, he was really technical, and he's good at graphics. What do you call it? The visual effects. In that time,
Or that 3D stuff.
Yeah, 3D stuff.
Yeah, man.
So the amount of questions I asked him, Raf, and
It's so good, bro, because our circle was quite small. You understood what everyone was really good at. You saying that about Josh Hoffman, that was the same with me. Yeah, I reached out in the same type of way to him, and bro, I think with him, I didn't meet him. Like, I think we were just talking like on messages, and then he asked me like video call, and I was like, whoa, like this is mean, I wasn't expecting that. I was just happy to wait a few minutes for a message. All right, then and there, he's like, oh, I'll video call you, and he just called me, put on my phone, and then just walked me step by step on how to do it. Like, it's cool because I'm kind of like you, where I'm like, oh, anything quite deep and into the technical space, I'll go straight for Huffy, because what he's doing now, bro, we knew that years back, like that dude was so like educated so well like that,
That's true.
Yeah. Well, like we knew the people that we had, right? Like,
I just remembered that. I just remembered, that's where I asked him for technical stuff about, some settings, and just to get his point of view of the camera settings, but the technical stuff like the laptop. I was like, I asked him. So
yeah.
Shout out to you.
Shout, man. Shout, Josh. So like since the beginning, we'll kind of shift from the beginning stages now into kind of like where you got into now, because you've been touching a lot of brands, but you've touched a lot of brands through the time. But you're currently with Matai Watches now, so shout out to you, Matai, man.
Matai to the world.
Stuff. Oh, there we go.
This is the Malanga.
Holy.
Yeah.
We'll probably stretch back a little bit and kind of come along to Matai. What was the first brand that you worked with?
So I started to work with Martin, L.Eyez eyewear.
Yeah. How did you get them?
Social media. No, actually, this is how, funny thing is, before I even got into the creative space, I came across their social media looking for glasses.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, this is cool. Like, message through Instagram. Yeah. And I was like, man, this is cool. Can you like, get frames, like specific style frames of the glasses, and put the specific island designs on them? And he was like, oh, now it's just, so that's how it started. Like,
that's why
I think this is funny. This is all coming back to me now. This is probably like a year or two before I started in the industry.
Yeah, right.
So I reached out. I was like, oh, cool. Love your glasses. Love the salmon designs on the side. Like, do you have this type of specific eyewear or like style of frames? That's what you call it, frames. But but then fast forward to when I started to get more experienced, I reached out to him and say, I'm a videographer now. So if you want some promo videos done, let me know.
Yeah. So you kind of already built a relationship way beforehand.
Yeah. And I thought, I'll just give it a crack. I'll send him a message and see if he needs an eyewear promo video. So sure enough, I was like thinking, he won't get back. He was like, cool, it's cool. I'll keep that in mind. I can't remember how long afterwards, but he messaged back. He goes, hey, I'm looking into, I need a promo video. I got this indigenous Aboriginal eyewear coming out. Would you be keen? I was like, yeah, man, yeah. So what's your rates? And I was like, yeah, man, I'll get back to you. That's probably why I probably messaged you, Ralph. Message every.
How much would you charge for?
How much do you charge for 60-second promo and for 1 hour or 2 hours? And I was just like trying to figure out, and I was messaging. I'm sure you you guys all got a message from me, and I was like going on a website and see how much they charge, and I was even ringing up websites, the websites with their numbers, like yeah, I've got a brand here. What are we looking at charging? Like this is someone that I never knew. Like obviously you just find out, and this is funny that I used to now I'm getting that DMs from creatives.
Yeah. How much do you charge for this? What would you do for this?
And a lot of the times from creators when I was starting out, it was like, oh, it's up to you. That's not helping. It's because it's sort of like, it's up to you, shoving you off. But you got to look at, okay, what's your quality levels at? And you can just give them a ball figure. Okay, at that level, you can charge this amount. Yeah. That's what I would do now, instead of like, oh, it's just up to you. So I can understand, like, creatives that's experienced, they worked hard for it. We all worked hard to get where we are. They can say no, fine, that's all good. But don't forget, when you started out, you must have been DMing everybody.
Yeah, 100%, bro.
You know what I mean? So, anyways, but we'll go back to sort of what we were.
How did you get that brand like L.Eyez? You did touch on it a little bit though.
Yeah. So he messaged me back, and then, man, I was like, yeah, $350. That's dirt cheap. And my first promo with L.Eyez was the Indigenous with the rapper, the Doko. He's an Aboriginal as well. Say True God.
Oh yes.
My first.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It was featuring him.
Yeah, man. So if you go back to my Insta, you'll see Say True God. So I mean, I didn't know who he was until, because Martin, like, he knew when you own a brand, you find out who's coming up in the industry. So he was a music artist at that time, and the first time I met him, first time I've even heard about him, he was half Tongan, half Aboriginal. And I did that was my first promo, and it came out pretty cool. Like, to be honest, like, for my first brand promo. And after, when I edited that, I reached out to Hoffman, Oos, how much would this usually cost? He goes, easy, 1,000. I was like, oh shit. I went from $350. I was like, yeah, my rate's $1,000 now. Because with the style quality that I was.
And you had something to show him, so that he could watch it back. Did you send him the video that you actually made?
Yeah.
Did you send that to him, and you're like, how much would you charge for this?
I can't remember if once I finished it, I sent it to him, or it's already posted up on L.Eyez Eyewear.
Oh, okay.
And then I send him the link. I can't remember, but he goes, yeah, bro, easy 1,000. I was like, I was like, yeah. So, us creators, we all start off, free, and then 300 and 4, 5, 6, and then.
Because that's massive, bro. You know what I mean? Like for me, if I, because how roughly long was the clip, bro? Was it like
60 seconds?
60 seconds.
Yeah, 60 seconds. And the funny thing is, I thought, man, 60 seconds is going to be easy edit. When I went to the editing, it took me about, I think, because it was my first 2 days. Yeah. Because not many people know, thinking that it's only 60 seconds. It's a lot to crush into on that 60 seconds. Yeah. You got to go through all your footage. You got to pick the spots. You got to do some little overlays. Those effects, burn effects, which I've done on that promo video. And it took me about 2 days just to put that together. And even until now, I mean, it can take you a few hours now. It's not like a 5-minute edit done. Yeah. It takes time. Yeah. Doing like a 30-second to 60 seconds. Some creators are obviously faster, but it does take a lot of time. So, but yeah, I was stoked when I said 1,000. So $1,000 minimum for 60 seconds for that quality, because I think that's where my journey of professional start to come through. Yeah. Storytelling. I loved the idea, because I loved telling people's story through a product, and it's a Pacific Island Maori brand. And I was like, man, I was so hooked into it. I was like, this is what I want to do. So from that promo win, we ventured onto the movement. Also the movement. Yeah. I'm not sure if you're heard of the movement.
Yeah. I've seen. I think he does music as well.
He's a music artist. So Moon Boy shot this music video.
Yes, I was going to say that's where I seen it.
So we went from the movement. Any influences Maori, Pacific Island influences. A lot of my favorite to this day is I've done with L.Eyez. There's a few there.
Man.
There's a few cultural, and that's where I started to begin. Oh, this is what I want to do. I want to do the cultural side of things, storytelling. To storytelling through the brand. With the voiceovers. One of the ones I liked, man, I did one with Herman. I liked the one with the Maori brand I did. We were in Mount Tambourine. That was a cool one. Check that one out. I can't remember the name of the brand or the name, but it was a Maori. She was like an influencer. Oh no, she wasn't an influencer. She was like a model. There's models that wear the brands. And that was my favorite one. One of my favorite ones, the Maori one. And the one I did with Tatau Fitness, where he was at the waterfall.
Yeah.
Man, I thought
that was mad, bro.
That was, people were like, when's the movie coming out?
Bro, yeah, I had the same feel too. When I watched you drop the teaser on it, yeah, I was just like, dang, this is next level, bro. Like
that's where, yeah. So that was one of my favorite ones, like a teaser of that. And I was like, man, this is awesome. Like I like the colors, the look. This is the look I was trying to achieve for a while. Like, how do you get that cinematic look, It
was so good, bro, because like I feel like when you went through that phase with L.Eyez, you grew so much, bro. You know what I mean? Because you were always shooting them. It allowed you to try new things. I think you even went, there were some ones that you were doing at home, bro. You'd like put it on a spinning thing. Was it like, I remember seeing so many different styles. You know what I mean? The other thing I feel that went so well with you shooting for the brand, bro, is the opportunity you had to network with all these people coming through. You know what I mean? Like, did that help you a lot as well? And then did you form relationships from there, or did you kind of knew people already?
No, that was actually your first time meeting these people.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like I can go back to them now. It's like, okay, hey, you available to model this? And then they've used me for their services for their birthday events, and
oh man, that's so good, bro.
And all this was from that GH5. That was like, the GH5 is really good if you know how to use it correctly, and with the right lighting, it can be a gun camera. So, yeah,
man, I feel like a lot of the things for you to, especially on, and you can correct me if I'm right, wrong, or right. Your way of learning, like when I'm listening to the certain things you're talking about, it seems like when you're in that experience, or when you're in that moment and something new comes, then you apply. Like you learn then, because I guess there's a lot of emotion and a lot of thinking that you have on. You're like, okay, yeah, I got to shift there. I got to learn this. What is this? Da 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 da. Yeah. And then because even the price thing, like bro, $350 to $1,000. Like,
yeah, to $1,000.
That's a massive jump.
That's a massive jump from when I went from that to that, and it just.
And you told them they're all good for it.
Yeah, man, and that's the minimum 1,000 of everything, because you gotta remember, like, it's also your time getting there.
There's a lot to put into it, right?
Editing, so. But the quality was good enough. When Hoff was like, "Yeah, 1,000 minimum 1,000, I'll charge for that." Like for that video, I was like, "Okay,
bro, shot Hoffy, man." I think that was another thing that was good about Hoffy too, bro. Hey, like he had a good ballpark figure of like brands, because I think for brands, weddings, like now when I look at it, I'm like, I think there's different charges for different areas. You know what I mean? Like your corporate stuff, your brands, like. Also got to cater to, I guess, or take into consideration like their budget as well, if they're just new to the scene or not. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot to think, but then also what you bring as well. All those years of experience, there's so much now compared to back then. Back then, when knew a little bit. Now there's so much, And
a lot of those, we're talking about small groups, is rough, especially. I was really comfortable because he was killing it, when I was coming up, when we were coming up. And I was comfortable of asking him a question, and he would respond. And it was that massive response of like, how do you do this? How do you make this look like this? Yeah. And he would explain. And most of the time I'm just trying to understand what he's trying to talk about. But he's definitely helped me out with my journey, you know, with a lot of these questions. And, you know, it's now that we're in the position now, you know, you can only do so much. You know, you do your best just to help a lot of creatives, right? But I think it helps once you take them out to the shoots and they come with you, because I'm a visual learner.
And see it, right?
And see it, yeah.
Because you had that instant, I think, with Mike Mika. Were you in and helped them on a wedding?
Oh, wedding, yeah.
A long time ago?
Yeah. So I went with Mike, also Mike, you know, he asked me to be a second shooter. Yeah. And even that time, man, I still didn't understand formalities, what time you're supposed to start, and start with the bride, the groom. And so I was just being a second shooter, like just making sure he asked me just to shoot this and that, but I still didn't get the formalities. It was only once I started 2024. So I started weddings, man, I did 5 or 6 on my own. When was my first wedding? 2022? Yeah, I think 2022 was my first wedding. Or 2021, one or the other. But that's over space for like 5. That's over a space of from 2021 till 2024. But when I was used to stick and shoot for Mike, I've learned his style of shooting. Also, I was looking at, but I just didn't understand the formalities. Yeah. I learned his style through editing his footage. So I've done over 20 plus weddings. I always say this, 20 plus weddings, because he was backlog. And then I would edit all his wedding footages. Man, 20 plus, that was a lot.
That's heaps, man.
That was in 2023. So that helped me do this kind of, you know, full time, you know, with the editing, because I took editing jobs. And when I was editing his weddings, I saw the movements, like the framing, and that's how I started to learn how to shoot. Like how Mike Mika does in the wedding scene.
He's a gun, bro. He's a gun on the weddings.
Honestly, that Mike Mika, there's only certain people that you can call a cinematographer.
Yeah.
I'm still learning to be a cinematographer, like, you know, storytelling. If you understand, I wouldn't even call myself a cinematographer at this stage, because...
Me neither, for me.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
When I look at his stuff though, bro, hands down, bro, I say that's cinematography right there, bro.
Like even through, like, not only just like, you know, the brands that he does, or the groups that he does, but, you know, through weddings, man, it's amazing. But, you know, it's not his thing. You know, he's just obviously, like, weddings wasn't his thing, like the things that he's doing with the groups now.
Yeah. I've seen. I know what you're talking about. I don't know what.
Well, there's.
Yeah, I don't know what you call that stuff. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, if you guys follow his stuff, you'll know.
You'll know. So he's a very good storyteller, and I've learned a lot through filming his weddings. And one of the wedding edits that I shot I reckon was one of my best ones. Like, trying to imitate what he was doing. It was a lot of work though, just to do it that way. It takes about maybe up to 5 days just to do like a cinematic kind of storytelling.
Yeah.
The way he was doing it, but it wasn't even close. I mean, it was good enough. Like, I reckon it was one of my best weddings that I've edited.
That's mad that, like, when you edit a video, you can see and you can learn from it too. You can be like, oh dang, that's what he pushes for, or that's why he moves that way.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
So that's like a kind of way that you're going on the shoot with, but you know, that's
because I did a wedding with him as well. Like, bit of a backstory. Mike Mika, I took him on his first wedding to assist me, and then I went last year to assist him. Full circle, you know what I mean? Like now I'm assisting him, bro. When I see the way he moves there, like, it's just like what you said, bro. When you're there and you see it with your own eyes, I'm just like, this is how this guy gets it to look that type of way, you know? It's amazing, eh?
It's been good. It's been really awesome, really awesome. So
pulling back to L.Eyez, you've been working with them. How long did you work with them before, bro? A while?
For a couple of years, I think. But that's when I did a lot of jobs with L.Eyez. You know, I was getting weekly work, and for, I think 3-4 months, I was getting, you know, work, and it was awesome, man. I was like, man,
is that kind of was that the time, would you say, that you thought to yourself, this is it? Like this is how I become full time?
This is and at that time I was like, man, I can do this full time.
Yeah.
And then it was just awesome just to do what you love, and and getting paid for it.
Mm.
But then again, once you keep doing it repeatedly, or once you keep doing it, again and again, you start to like, oh, it's the same thing.
Plateau.
It's like, it's the same thing. It's like, I start to like, I don't want to do something. I don't want to do it. You get to a stage where you've done it too many times, and then you start to like lose motivation. That's what it is. I think you lose lack of,
Because in the beginning, bro, you're super excited.
and it's cool, and just to know that you've got work every week. And then I got to a point where I start to lack motivation, and I was like, hang on, I gotta stop. I better stop acting this way, because you never know.
Yeah.
You might not get jobs again, and then you have to go to a 9 to 5 or part time.
Yeah. And so you through L.Eyez, I'm just trying to think of who are some other artists that you kind of came across, like just to name a few. So you mentioned True God, the movement.
So the movement, man, it's good, taking us way back now.
Did you ever have any athletes or other people of any other status?
So Martin would find influencers, athletes, or artists, and he goes, "Hey, this guy here, we'll do him."
Yeah,
so I started doing So it started off like that, and I just started to never met these guys before, and that's how it began. So like
yeah, I think a few other shoots besides the brand that I do remember seeing you shoot is your uncle. Hey, your uncle is a musician.
Oh, Richard. Oh, yeah, that's right. Richard Parker.
So you shot him for a little bit as well?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember, yeah. So Richard Parker. So my dad and Richard are brothers. Because people ask, is that your brother?
Yeah.
That was my uncle. So because obviously he's known in the Samoan community. He's like the Elvis of Samoa. Yeah. He's got a unique style of his songs, with his... He's got the kind of Elvis, the Elvis voice. At the same time, it's depending on the songs, like it's unique. And I was, man, but anyways, when I got better at my work, I did a documentary. Actually, my first documentary on this artist, L.Eyez. And because after doing this, because I love storytelling, right? Yeah. And then I did a documentary on the painter. He's a painter in Logan, I think, somewhere in Logan, Alex. And so I did my first documentary with him, and then I messaged my uncle. I said, "Hey, uncle, I'm filming now," and he laughed. Because, oh, you're filming now. And then I think he didn't take me serious, because this is out of the blue. Yeah. And I sent him my the short documentary that I did, my first one. And he goes, "Oh, this is actually pretty good. Okay, well, I got a single coming up. I'll fly you to Melbourne."
Oh, yeah.
So that's how I started.
And he did a few things, I think, for L.Eyez eyewear as well. Like,
yeah. So we, obviously we got... So that's where I think, can't remember. I messaged L.Eyez. I was like, "Hey, my uncle's a music artist. He's he's not known in the Samoan music industry, and how about we do a promo video with him?" So we did a promo video with him. He also sponsored us as well for the going over to Samoa to do a music video there. So that's how the relationship began with L.Eyez and Richard. And that's since then, like, it was just funny how my uncle was like, "Oh, you're filming now," and he's laughing,
man,
as if I was joking around. And so my first music, that was my first... was that my first music? I think it's my first music video.
Yeah,
was Richard Parker.
Okay. Because I was gonna, because we're on that topic, I thought we'll just run along there, because you have done a few music videos too, man. for a few artists.
Yeah, I have actually. When you mentioned my record, I was like, it is. I was like, that's right.
That's right. Yeah.
Once you're creative and you're editor, you lose track of days.
Yeah.
You start to forget. I'm not sure if you start to forget things or.
I think, I'm good with memory. Like, I think for myself, like this here podcast, I have a really good memory. So if I have somebody on, like when I put my focus on that person that I have coming on, I can really dig back to certain things I remember. So then when we do the potty, I can bring them up, because when I throw the names out, that's when your memories come back.
Yeah.
But I do remember you. I do remember you did a few music clips. I'm just trying to think of some of the people, because some of the stuff you did was like some religious, like Christian rappers,
They also man, this is killing me. Talk Mata. Yeah.
There's a few, man. Where do you post them? Do you post those music clips up on your own YouTube, or does it go on the music artist, just so I can send the people there if they want to watch it?
Yeah, so all my stuff is all on my Instagram. All the music, snippets of the music videos, promo videos, and then I'll upload it onto my YouTube channel. But
you've done a few. I know that for sure.
That was one of my favorite ones too. Like when I was getting into the music video. Like if you watch, it's a Christian artist, and his last name is Tormata. Man, this was great. Wait, hold on.
Cool.
Oh yeah, so the artist, the music video, when we're talking about the Christian rappers, Jeremy Tormata. So yeah, Jeremy Tormata. I did a music video with him, and it was one of my favorite ones. It was at the train station, the museum train station in Ipswich. So that was pretty cool. I actually really liked that one. Who else did I do? So, I mean, that was before coming into, the Matai brand, that's when, but earlier, I really didn't do much music videos,
You did a few. I do remember you did a few. And there's a reason, I guess I'll bring it up and see if you can, if you remember it. I remember having a conversation with you long, years back about filming music. And I remember you saying to me that with the music for you, you're big on music that don't swear.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why is that, bro?
So yeah, I think early in my career, I was I was still I'm not committed now, but I'm still in the faith. I'm still a believer. I was really hardcore into my faith as a Christian at that time. And no, actually, I just came out of the church, and even though I wasn't going to church, I wasn't committed. I was things change. Yeah. Like the way I used to talk was every word was if. You know how you talk. Yeah. Say if we talk right now. Yes. The way I used to speak is the colorful cussing. That's how I used to talk, and going to church, got changed, and then it changed the way I listened to the music. So now with the cussing, it's like it's too much, or it just gives me that it's not the same. Before, man, used to party hard out and listen to all the rap, and the cussing was just didn't bother me. So even though I was away from, I came out of the church, and that still stuck with me, like the cussing. So I wouldn't film. So when artists reach out to me on Instagram, and then I was like, hey man, I'm just seeing what your rates are for your music videos, and love your work, and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, cool, send me your track, and I'll have a listen to it. And then I'll listen to it, and then there's all this cussing. I was like, hey man, look, just respect. I don't do any music videos. I like to shoot music videos with cussing or anything that talks about alcohol or that kind of stuff. Yeah. And it just wasn't my thing. Like, I don't care if you paid me $1 million. Like, I wouldn't do it. It was just the way I was, and because of the convictions and the changes. Like, and this is when I came out of the church. It's usually a lot of people that came out of the church, they backslid and they go back into the worldly things. So, but they stuck with me to this day.
You went for a massive change. I know that for sure. Yeah. From way back then, and you went through this. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right. That's a good point.
So I remember when we had this convo and you told me that about the cussing thing, that stuck with me because music was starting to come. You know what I mean? And I think you saw the opportunities that were coming. So for me, it really stood out when you said to me, "Nah, as soon as I hear cussing, nah," and I was like, "Dang, this is the first."
Yeah, man. And I was losing money too. I needed money. I needed the cash, you know. I was like, I just had that conviction, you know. No, I can't do it. So
It's so good, bro.
yeah.
It was so good for me because I was like, this guy's really trying to live what his belief.
Yeah.
And it was so good. Like you said, the money was there. You could have, but you chose,
I chose not to.
yeah.
So I just refer other videographers. So obviously my brother Dre Parker.
Man. Bro, shout out to you, Dre, man.
Shout out my bro.
I'll pull you on soon, man. Far out.
Yeah. So he was actually did this before me when he was in high school in Auckland, South Auckland.
Yeah.
So he did a course. Actually, it's funny I just mentioned that. Like he did a course of learning how to do videography, but then he just sold his camera, and then it's not until I got my camera that's when he came back. So shout out to my bro.
Good, bro. Honestly, bro, I love, man. Just while we're on him right now, man, shout out to you, Dre, bro. I see what you do in the music scene right now.
Yeah.
So good, man. So good. The growth too is crazy. But bro, I love it because he's been in that lane for a good amount of time now.
Yeah,
been in there for a long minute. So,
and he even knows, like, he goes, "Oh, bro, that's right. You don't edit these music videos." I was like, "Nah."
yeah. So yeah, man. So that I do remember that part. I just wanted to kind of highlight that. One more thing I kind of want to stretch back to just to talk about before we move forward was another video that I loved, bro, from one of your beginnings, and I feel that this video was the one that kind of really went well for you. The one that you did for that flower, that Tongan guy that was, I think, on the side of the road, bro, and he people pull over and buy flowers.
Sione,
yeah.
Sione, the documentary I did on him.
Yeah, bro, yeah. And I remember that clip so well because that one went off.
Man, yeah. So once I found my niche on what I like to do, the brand and the documentaries. So I've been driving past this dude for 1 year, every day.
And the area, what's the name of the area?
Oh man, so I forgot what's the.
Was it Red Bank?
It's in Red Bank. It's definitely in Red Bank, but that road, oh man, I forgot.
It's like going to.
It goes from Red Bank to Red Bank Plains. Oh, Red Bank Plaza.
Plaza, yes.
So that route. So if you know that route.
I forgot too, though. But it's like there's the Samoan field. Is that like Samoan Park?
It's called Samoa Park. Yeah, there's a park right there. He's opposite.
So those from the area, you guys would know.
Yeah, Samoa Park. So
it was around that bend, eh?
Yeah. So what we just knew when we're going through that route, we just know that there's a flower shop there, and I was thinking, oh, true. Wonder what I was thinking it was Samoan. Oh, that Samoan guy's been there every day. I'll just drive past, and then this is when I was in my getting into the filming stuff. And I was like, one day after 1 year, 1 year, I think 1 year after 1 year to filming, then I was like, I drove past. I was like, hang on, why can't I document this guy? So I pulled over, turned around, and I went to see him. I was like, hey, I'm a videographer coming up. I'm new. I drive past you every day. Are you Samoan? It's like, no, I'm Tongan. I was like, Sione. And would it be okay to come and document you, do a short documentary? So yeah, come tomorrow. Yeah, and then that's when I think, was that my first doco?
No, probably.
No. Sorry, it was Alex, and then Sione. So yeah, that's when I hit it off. I just got to know him more, and man, once I finished editing that one, and I put it up, it just went, man, like
overnight, I think.
Overnight,
and it would have just carried on for you.
It blew up. It went everywhere, and it was that popular that people started to go and support Sione. There was a line of cars because I went to see him I think a week later. He goes, "Oh, Dave, thank you, my friend, thank you. All these cars lining here and all like this. He was telling me about the same people, the people that does what he does a job. He goes, "We want to come in and sell flowers at your area." He goes, no. He will sell his flowers first. He's got to sell out first, then you can come.
Yeah, makes sense, bro. Yeah.
Man, there was a whole support and people sending him money, just to support from overseas, from America.
Yeah.
Like, oh, how do we send Sione money? It's like, this is his account. You can send money through and come, I think, Valentine's Day man, there were carloads of people, pulling up and, I watched your documentary, and it's like, oh yeah. So when he sold out all his flowers, then he called his friends in the Tongan community. Yeah, come now. But he said, I have to be here because they're coming to see me.
Yeah.
So it's not, so he's like, I have to stay here so that they can sell. And then, they sold their flowers. So is it a Tongan thing? Is it like a Tongan thing to sell flowers on the side of the road? Like every time, it seems to be a lot of them have come across the Tongans.
The Tongans, true. Okay. I don't know, bro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because there's heaps of them, like, in different areas that I've seen. So and that was to me, I didn't think it'd explode. I had no idea. This is when my earlier followers weren't that many. And because of that, I gained a lot of followers.
Yeah, exactly. Because I remember, I think I was like checking your page, bro, on the daily. And I was just like, because, bro, it's just, every day, it just, when people share, if they're my friends, that's what my whole feed was gonna be about. Like,
yeah,
like their stories. I was just like, this is all I see. I don't know how long it went for, man. It went for a good minute. Like it went for a while. But man, that was powerful. You know what I mean?
It takes me back, man. That's right. It was a good feeling for me because, I was able to tell his story and having people just stop by on the road. And man, when he saw me, like he gave me a hug and gave me a flower. And he goes, he's trying to give me money. I was like, no. No, I don't want your money. Yeah, take a flower. But we were just like kind of fighting with the money, like, now you keep your money. And I think there was an event that I was doing for Tatau Fitness when they're fundraising for the, I couldn't remember what the fun.
It was like a sausage or like barbecue.
Yeah, barbecue in Red Bank.
Yes, and he came.
He goes, Dave, I'm here because of you. Because you support me, I support you. And he hands me the money because I was helping at the...
Yeah, because you were filming. I
was helping document the Uso Clem. So shout out to my Uso Clem. Self Fitness. And so he came through. So that was pretty cool. So shout out to Sione, man. I haven't heard from him, so I should get in touch with him.
Yeah. I wonder if he's still doing it. You reckon he's...
Nah, I haven't seen him in that stall. So
I drive past there a few times. I don't see nothing. Yeah.
It could be, obviously, council could have moved, but because he did speak about that he's sick. Like he shouldn't be doing what he's doing because he shouldn't, his health wasn't there and his kids didn't want him to do it. So that was in that doco. Like, he doesn't want to stay home. He was one of those parents that don't want to stay home. So he chose to do something. So I think that's what a lot of the story really got out there for people. He had a heart attack. Yeah, that's right. He had a heart attack from his 9-to-5 job. He was working at the time, and he had to finish. They couldn't let him work, so he just didn't want to sit around at home. So he just did the flowers. So that was in the doco. So check it out. It's one of my earlier stuff.
Yeah, man.
It's the story that sells. And that time, then my visuals weren't up to par,
bro. But the story was it? You know what I mean? But like, I think like even at the time with what you did know and what you could give with the visuals, bro, it was perfect. Because you can only imagine like his families that are overseas, and then this video reaches them.
Yeah,
like his family members. You know what I mean? Because I think I had a convo with someone from New Zealand, and they said like, that's my uncle.
Oh wow!
But then who knows, bro? We get some pollies who just say, oh yeah, that's my uncle. But if it is, man, you know what I mean? It just shows how powerful, like at that time, how powerful content was, especially a story,
Yeah.
a story, bro. So bro, that was massive. And I take my hat off to you because we didn't talk about this on the first time we spoke, but I remembered it like this time round. We'll fast track now a little bit to who you are currently working with now. Yeah. Matai Watches.
Matai Watches, man.
You just want to run us on a bit of a backstory. How did you connect with them, man?
So when I first heard about Matai, it was through the Tour Samoa campaign. Like, obviously I was following the page, and that's when I first came across Matai, this watch brand, and I saw them presenting a watch to the Tour Samoa team. Can't remember, like over 2 years ago, 2, 3, like over 2 years ago, and I was like, man, what's this watch brand? Like Matai Watches, like the Samoan. Like, there's no other watch brand that I know of that exists Pacific Island right now. Then I looked into it and then saw their page and followed their page, and then I start to see their watches, and I start to like the watches, comment on their post, thinking nothing of it, And one time, so this is the time where I went to no, I came back from, I think it was either in Bali or just came out, and that's when I was posting up the snippets, and that's when I had that cinematic, look of the snippets of Bali when I went, and I did like a fire emoji or one of their stories, and then he came back and messaged me, say, hey, it was like, can we jump on a call? We're actually coming up to Brisbane. So there's two founders, Andrew and Nick. So Andrew, he founded it first. He saved up 4 years just to save up enough money to start this watch brand. And then Andrew and Nick, they were bouncers at the nightclubs.
Oh, okay.
So they were bouncers. So every year, so how it started is every year, they would gift each other watches. This is way before Matai existed. Yeah. So Andrew and Nick, and the crew, they would gift each other watches at the end of the year, as their Christmas gift. And Andrew, like, man, I wanna do this, but have our own watch brand. Yeah, fast track 4 years later, saved up all that money, and that's how Matai Watches started. Yeah. And then Nick came into the picture. So Andrew is Samoan, Nick is Niuean Cook Island.
Oh wow!
So Nick is the one that's all the stuff that you see online, the ads. That's Nick. So he's the one that's you see all these visuals that's coming to life on your time feed, or the watch. So that's Nick and Andrew came together. So that's the history of Matai, how it started. But anyway, so at the time I was in Bali, or just came back from Bali. I had already snippets, and he looked at that. And it's like, wow, I like the how you shot your journey in Bali. Looking at the cinematic stuff, and he goes, we're coming up from Sydney. These guys are from Sydney, and look, we're gonna release a woman's watch called the Mania, and we're getting Heilani to promote this. So she was the Miss Samoa at the time. So she was the Miss Samoa. She just got crowned Miss Samoa. Actually, she got crowned Miss Samoa and came back to Australia, and then she was the first Miss Global, and then she went to Miss Universe. So, what a way to start, with Heilani. So what I did with L.Eyez, is what I applied to Matai, with their visuals. So if you've seen the promo videos I did with Heilani and Matai, it's one of my favorite ones too. I did three promo videos with them, and that's why I thought cool. So maybe this is it, because they're from Sydney. There's heaps of filmmakers there in Sydney. They'll probably just use me once here in Brisbane. But then after that, I just became their creative director. So I'm their guy that films. Even though I live here, they'll fly me to New Zealand. we flew into Samoa for the Manu Samoa campaign with Lani Alo, doing the music video with Lani Alo. Man, this is crazy. I got to fly just to go to do a music video for the Manu Samoa campaign and Matai with Lani Alo. He's a massive artist in the Pacific Islands too, Lani Alo. And what was it? Yeah, so that's how I came in Mareko.
Yeah, man.
That was one of my favorite music videos, Mareko. I've been a fan of Mareko for years. Like when I was living in Wellington and before coming into this, years before coming into this.
Because back then, is that when they were in the group, that Decepticons?
They were in the Decepticons, and this is where Savage is blowing up.
Yeah, man.
And Mareko's first album, White Sunday, to this day, one of the best gold albums, like one of my favorite albums.
I still rate him as one of the best rappers.
Yeah.
Bro, I love his style.
When he came out with that White Sunday, I said, no one's beating this, man. Like, this is New Zealand. This is hip hop, man. Like, I love how it's laid out and the beats, the way he flows. And
his flow is mean.
Yeah. And it's weird. Like, this is a guy that I watch on TV. There wasn't like a YouTube back then.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it was still early. There was.
We just didn't use it as much as we do now.
We do now. But seeing this guy on TV, and a lot of these artists that I work with, Lani Alo, L.Eyez, L.Eyez, man, that was like, it was like I get to meet these guys and have a relationship with them, and I filmed their music video, and it's all thanks to the crew at Matai, man, because it's a blessing just to be able to fly over, places and do what you love. And Tree's another one.
That's the one, yeah.
Tree, she's another artist. I mean, come on, man. Like she's, one of the legends in the game. And so it's just been awesome.
Yeah, man, you've been blessed, eh? Like, and I've it's been nice to watch that part of your journey. Like, you go and do these brands, but then who you meet within the brands, the networking that you create and relationships you create within the brand, Like you said, like L.Eyez, man, I was listening to them when I was a kid, like in high school and that. Man, they popped off. Same thing like Decepticons, like I was just like, and so these are us in our childhood, teens, and then meeting them years later, even though it's like years later, your memory will still go back to when you used to listen to them on the radio, My FM, like all of them back then, right? Like it's buzzy, like it's so good. And then you get to tell them face to face your feelings from way back then, how you admired their stuff. You get to tell that to them now.
Yeah, to them now, like you'd watch them, and then you get to film their music videos. So when I was talking about Mareko, like. He did a remix of Here to Stay. That was his first drop.
Yes.
Here to Stay.
Yes, I remember.
So 20 years later, they connect. He connected with Matai, and Matai had a watch. Okay, cool. We can collaborate on this. And Mareko did a remix of Here to Stay. And it's one of my favorite music videos because if you look at the set design, the background with the graffiti on the wall, and I was trying to imitate the White Sunday music video of Here to Stay. If you look at the Here to Stay of his one, so I was like, how am I going to do that over here? So looked around and I found the spot, and it was, bro, it's perfect, man. And it's one of my favorite music videos, bro. So it was like a celebration of 20 years of White Sunday album, and we got to be involved in that, and that was definitely one of my favorite albums, and being one of my favorite hip hop artists, one of my favorite of all time.
That's mad because you get to do more within the brand than just filming the brand. You get to film a music clip. You know what I mean? Like there's so much that connects from the brand.
Yeah.
I guess just a few things while we're on the topic of brands, man. Like, what's one of the biggest things that you've learned for yourself from working with brands? Like if you were to give a piece of advice for somebody out there who's curious and they're like, man, how do you reach out to brands? What would be your advice, your number one advice to them?
Just to message out DM them on Instagram or social media. Just say, look, I'm a up and coming artist, up and coming filmmaker, and just like to come and shoot your music video or brand. So you give them that free stuff, at first as you do, and then you just go from there.
The other thing I wanted to just ask you just one more question before we kind of wrap it up. What would you say would be one of the biggest lessons that you've learned so far?
I think biggest lesson is once you get to that level that your quality is good, you want to, you do everything you can just to do it full time. And throughout, so this is my second year. So second year was 2004, 2024 is when I was doing it full time. And
because before that you did a bit of work in between. Is that what you're saying?
So my first year going free, like as a freelance, it was like, that's when I left the full-time job and try to pursue this, full time. And there were times when I was not getting much work, and I just didn't want to go to a full-time job, because if I went back to a full-time job, I can't just like, I need a day off tomorrow because I got approached from a client, or you just can't do that. Or even part-time, like you got days part-time, I don't know how that works, but it's very hard. So I found like I was doing DoorDash and Uber Eats, and man, it's a good job because you work by yourself. You can work anytime, but at the same time, it's crap money, man. So you're doing 8 hours and you're just getting just under $200 for 8 hours work, and that's before tax and before petrol. But look, it's something.
Oh wow,
it's something
just to fill in,
just to fill in, like, just to get to do this full time. And I was doing that on months that I wasn't busy. So this is my first year, right? And I did okay. I just scraped through doing full time in 2023, and then 2024, man, it was the best year. Like, I got work. I think there was only, even I was doing it full time, there's still weeks that you need, you still need some, money. So I went back into door dashing, again, just to fill out that week. And like, I could still go back to it like this year, which is fine. But, at the same time, I'm going to be definitely calling or, trying to get more work, just to maintain that full time. But 2024 was my best year, my second year doing it full time, and it was very busy, man, real busy, especially with weddings, man, busy with weddings. And I got corporate jobs, big jobs, like, and they were really good money, like money I haven't seen before in my jobs, like one of the corporate companies that kind of made me made like, that's 2 months of work, that's like 2 months of salary,
Yes, yeah, I know what you mean.
So look, like when you start to get burnt out, and you start to feel like, I don't want to do it, man. I just remind myself it's either that or you just go back to a 9 to 5. Or so this year is another grind. So look, you might see me pop up in your door for your delivery, say hello. So you can never know. You can always go back to your part-time. I've spoken to other creatives, and they're saying the same thing, like either not much work or they're burnt out. They just don't want to do it anymore because they've been doing it so long that they'd rather go to jobs. But for me, like, I try to maintain this. So I've got a lot of editing jobs, which keeps me doing it. Just keep at it, man. Regardless. So it's okay if you have to go back to 9 to 5 or part-time, door dashing, Uber, man, just go. Who cares? It's all good. Like, you might even see me, like, I'll probably have to go back into doing DoorDash or Uber if this year is not doing really well. So now I've got to grind another year to get more work, get more stability. So if I'm in your area, just don't forget the tip. If I don't see a tip and I come and you ask me for your wedding, I'm gonna charge you double the price.
Double the price plus interest.
$10,000 wedding.
That's so good to hear, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? because I believe that I've had a few conversations with people that they are kind of on that fence as well. You know, like, oh, I don't think this is for me. And it's nice to hear those reasons. You know what I mean? Like, it's either you're burnt out or lost motivation, whatever it may be. But I think it's like if you really love this stuff, man, always try and go back to your reason, like why you stepped into this space in the beginning. Like for me, like I took that year off. And I think for me, it wasn't really for the weddings. I didn't stop because I didn't like weddings. For me, it's just, I didn't want people to just know me as the person that does weddings.
Yeah, so that you're the wedding guy.
Yeah, because that's what kept coming my way, and I don't blame them because that's all that was on my feed. You know, everything. If you came on my IG way back then, that's all you'll see. So that's all I attract. So I understand, like when you're talking about portfolio, that thing's so important, man, on how you structure and how you post your stuff, because that's how people are gonna like come to you for work. If they can see, oh yeah, this guy's done a few music video clips, let's lean on him. Whereas if you want to do music video clips, but you don't have any to show them, you most likely won't get that attraction, you know? So it's important to get out there, like what you said in the beginning. It's very important to get out there and do that free work, because you need to stack up their portfolio. So then that way you do have something where people can look and then decide.
Oh, definitely. It was like, I've done from music videos, weddings, corporate shoots, I try to cover every short documentaries, every what you call it, genres or whatever you call it, just so that if a client just approaches you, look, I'm after this and that. I've done here. Here's my work that I've done on the music video, or here's a wedding. I'm an editor as well.
Yeah, man, it's really good. Like social media is so powerful, bro. Like I believe it's just up to you on how you choose to use it. You know, I think another tip as well is try and mix up your style. You know, like if you do say 5-6 weddings, man, try and make them all look different, because you might get a client who'll be like, I like this style. Like, you know what I mean? It's a good reference point for yourself, you know, and then be like, oh, okay, cool. But yeah, it's so good to hear that, because like I said before, I took that year off. I didn't want to be known as the wedding videographer if I came back in. So I was kind of thinking, what can I do to show another side of me? Because this is one of the best sides of me that I like, is that I like connecting. I love talking with people.
You found your niche. Yeah. Like, your YouTube.
And so the parties, when they came, I was just like, that's me. Like that's it, bro. Like if I can show this side to people, and it has, like last year, man, wow, that was a mad year, because then people got to see how I talk, how I communicate. They get to see my personality, my character, just because of this.
Yeah.
And then it just branched out easier for me, like, because then I got other jobs where people were just like, I like I like how you speak on your body, you know what I mean? I mean, it just shows like that side that I can actually engage with people.
Yeah.
So yeah, coming back in this year, I have a few weddings already booked in for the year, but I don't need to sit on weddings. Like I want to try and open up to other lanes. So just like how last year was good for you, it was so good for me as my comeback year.
Yeah, man. I was surprised. Like, shucks, you're actually finding something that you love to do. Like, I didn't expect you to do this podcast, So it's good, just keep at it.
Yeah, thank you.
Any time you'll fail is if you give up.
Bro, we've had a mad chat today, eh? I appreciate it, bro. I feel like we've really had a good little insight into, your journey. So just on certain points, I know that there's so much.
There's so much more that you try to fit in within,
Because another thing that we didn't get to talk too much on as well, but my brother here, he does merch as well. So if you guys follow his story, you'll see him, you like post it up every now and then, right?
Yeah, it's just the merch here, Park Films. Like, it's not a lot, like I'm not pushing for the merch side of things, like as in, because that's a whole nother thing you got to push. It's a whole nother game. So it's more like an accessory. So, I did a promo video in Sydney with one of the co-founders. He's a co-founder, Andrew.
Oh, okay.
The guy that was modeling it. So that's Andrew. So he was, so when I was in Sydney filming, and so
that was a nice one, bro.
Yeah, I mean, that was just, and that's when I met Spanian. Shout out Spanian, yo. Shout out to you, Andrew.
Man, that man, shot, man, and Spanian. Holy heck.
Yo.
What a journey, bro. You have been through like a lot of good experiences, and I believe you've also been through some hard times as well, but you're still in it, you know?
Still grinding, man. Yeah.
It's so important. I think it's very important for a lot of people to see that and understand that, like, you know, not everything is supposed to be easy.
Yeah, and the support is good to have. You know, the support in this industry. You're gonna, like you said, we go through hard times. Creatives that's been in the industry for 2 years up will understand. Like when you're new, you'll get to that point where there's going to be lows, there's going to be haters, there's going to be you're going to feel let down, and you will learn as you come up. So the main thing is worry about. Yes, I think that's advice. Do not worry about what anyone else is doing. Worry about you. Focus on your own craft and what you do best, and try to make that as a full-time filmmaker. So just worry about yourself. I think that's my number one. For those who we understand, we understand what we're talking about. It's a touchy subject as well, if we go into that. But just worry about yourself. Just when you feel discouraged, look to your people that you came up with in the creative space, and you know your wife, your family will always be there to support you. But yeah, just keep at it, man. Just keep at it and don't give it up. See, I am where I am today because I believed in myself and I had support from my wife and the creatives. Very few that, like in my day one, like also here, Mark. As you go into this venture, you find out who's who. You know what I mean? So and I'm the guy that will still support. I'm that dude that I will still support the creatives. In whatever they do. So I'm just that guy. Like now I just focus on what I need to do this year. Just get as much work as I need to do just to maintain this full time and just to enjoy it, you know. And it's always good to have your closest creatives. Not every creative is going to be your friends. Yeah. So and we'll you know that as when you come up, you know who's who.
I just want to add to that little back end part that you're saying. Like I said before, I left. I took that year off. I knew Dave. I knew Ruff. I knew Carlin. I knew Josh Hoffey, Mike Mika. I knew those people because they were with me from the start. While yous were with me, the others kind of I've just met along the way. But you and Ruff been there from the very beginning for me, anyways. When I came back, man, like I said, it just felt like I never left. For me, like, even when I was gone, I can't remember, but I'm sure there were still a few convos when I had with certain people in my circle, we're just checking up, you know, how you going? You all right? You going to come back to filming? That was the most common question that I got. You coming back? I knew I was coming back. I just needed to figure out when I come back, what am I going to come back and do? You know? And like I said, like this was it. Like this filled that hole that I had. Like I was just trying to figure out, like, I come back, I have to come back different. And so just to touch on what you're saying about reaching back to your day ones, for those that you have in your circle, you can feel it. I think I can't speak on you. Yeah, I can't speak on you or other people. I could just speak on myself. But there are times where you can feel where things are not right with you and a certain individual.
It's so true.
And then that's, you might just have to call it at that.
Coming up next on our podcast.
But yeah, all in all, bro, that's a wrap. Once again, for those of you that did watch this, bro, thank you so much for watching the potty. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you do have any questions, please, bro, I'll have Parker's social media handles in the description below. But also, please support me by subscribing, also liking. And if there's something in here that you like that we talked about, and drop it in the comments below. But yeah, once again, man, big love. Thank you so much for coming on, Parker, man.
Sure, also, sure for having me, man.
That's us.